Chapter 36. Leah and Kai. Leah crouched low, the prickly branches of the bushes scratching her arms and legs. She held Adam close to her. His slight frame trembled in fear as she covered him, using her body like a protective shield. "Shh, baby," she soothed, placing a hand on his chest, trying to calm the little heart pounding against his ribcage. Peering through the dense foliage, they watched the tall, shadowy figure moving without noise through the trees. Leah's throat constricted as she fought to suppress the rising fear inside of her. They lived nomadically, surviving off whatever they could find after leaving the cabin. Despite her earlier vow to never return to town, they had no choice but to venture back several times for supplies before wasting no time in retreating into the safety of the woods. The world was in chaos, with any sense of normalcy gone. Malcolm Gobo and the decree made sure of that. His soldiers showed no mercy in their brutal reign of terror, roaming the isolated streets, terrorizing and murdering anyone who was not part of them. Leah couldn't shake the thought from her mind, and she shuddered at the memory. She squeezed her eyes shut, attempting to push away any thoughts of Ben. But it was futile. His image burned forever on the back of her eyelids, a constant reminder of the monster she had once called her husband. Adam shifted beneath her. She cuddled him closer, trying to comfort the terrified little boy. It was difficult imagining that this kind, precious child could have come from someone like Ben. How is it possible for a boy like Adam to be the son of a man willing to sacrifice his child for personal gain? Dumbfounded, she could not comprehend how she had underestimated Ben's true abilities. She learned the hard way, hadn't she? The memory flooded back in vivid flashes. The dense forests, her torn clothes covered in dirt and scratches, and the constant feeling of being watched. Her eyes darted around, searching for signs of Adam hiding behind a bush, the overwhelming relief of knowing he was safe, concealed from view. Yet, without thinking, Leah stood before Ben's mistress, offering Adam up to Ben and the decree without considering the consequences, begging and pleading, believing that Ben would keep their son safe. It was a moment of blind desperation that would haunt her forever. It felt strange feeling the hostility Ben's mistress felt towards Leah. If anyone should be hostile, it should be her. But she didn't have any feelings. She didn't even know the woman's name. All she cared about at the moment was what would happen to Adam if someone took her captive. The woman spoke, revealing that she was pregnant with Ben's child, and that he wanted nothing to do with Adam. That he was not a pure blood. What the heck was a pure blood? And how was this woman carrying Ben's baby? None of it made sense. She felt a surge of sympathy for Ben's mistress, but it vanished just as fast. Adam was alone in the bushes. She'd been a fool going to the decree compound and putting her child's safety at risk. Risk? That's rich, Leah, she thought, thinking of how she'd walked her son right into the biggest danger of his life, handing him over like a sniveling idiot. Now, here she was, resigned and lost, hiding in the woods, clutching Adam to her, with no idea of what to do as a strange man stalked through the woods before them. It had been weeks since her ill-prepared trip to the decree complex. She had seen a lot since then, yet she didn't want to believe that Ben could be involved in these atrocities. But how could he not when he was so close to Malcolm? The truth was hard to swallow, but it was glaringly obvious. Ben knew. And there was the strange comment the woman made about Malcolm Gobo's brother. He thinks you killed his brother. Now he's furious and needs to make an example of you. Leah shivered. Why would the leader of the decree think that she killed his brother? She blinked rapidly, trying to clear her vision. In front of her, a tall man with long, dark hair appeared, flanked by two others. One was a middle-aged man with glasses perched on the end of his nose, sweating profusely, yet clearly in his element. The other was a young teenage girl, gripping a rifle against her chest with fierce determination. They crept through the trees, listening to the sounds of the forest. The fear in Leah's chest grew. Looking at them gathered together, they didn't fit the decree image. Their clothing was rugged, outdoorsy, more suited for life in the open wilderness than the strict uniforms of the decree soldiers. She crouched lower, wishing she had a better weapon to defend her and Adam than the baseball bat she found during her trips to town. A bat was hardly a match against the three individuals before her with guns in hand. She shifted her weight, losing her balance, and hit Adam's soft side. He cried out in pain before Leah could cover his mouth. The tall, dark man paused and raised his hand, signaling the others to halt. Together, the three turned towards where she and Adam were hiding, their guns trained on them with unwavering precision. Leah's jagged breath caught in her throat, bracing herself for what was to come next. They were spotted. Kai saw her, the woman. She hid in the bushes, peering through the branches as he caught a glimpse of her blonde hair. It stood out against the vibrant greenery surrounding them. He followed her gaze and his eyes locked with her blue ones. She looked petrified. It radiated from her, seeping out of every pore in her skin. "Kill her," Summer whispered from behind him, her voice emanating with bloodlust. He raised his hand to signal for her to be quiet, sensing her small body quiver with anticipation. She was just a kid, but he could feel the bloodthirst inside her. It made him uneasy. He knew she meant every word she spoke. The woman recoiled, her eyes widening in fear as she took in the sight of Summer. Kai looked at her, tattered and dirty, with a strained look of desperation in her eyes. It was clear that she was not a soldier, but another victim fleeing from the devastation of the decree.
"She is not one of them."
Kai's commanding voice broke through the tense atmosphere, causing his muscles to loosen a fraction. He maintained his grip on the gun, aiming it with a steady hand at the woman who was crouched down in the bushes. She seemed to be trying to shrink into herself. It was clear that she was terrified, and that was everything he needed to know.
"You don't know that. Kill her before she tries to kill us,"
Summer demanded, stepping forward with a mix of anger and fear in her every movement. Chris gripped Summer's wrists, his fingers digging into her skin as she struggled against him.
"Knock it off! Enough with the killing already!"
he yelled, holding her back. Summer's eyes burned with rage as she tried to break free from his grasp. He let go of her and she shoved him away, stumbling backwards, wiping away tears threatening to fall before regaining her composure. Summer's voice cut through the air like a sharp blade, stinging Chris with its bitter tone.
"Never had a dad, and I don't need one now,"
she declared, her words laced with defiance and pain. The weight of her past weaved in every word she spoke, her hardened exterior betraying her inner wounds they didn't know. Kai noticed the shift in Chris's demeanor, the way his face transformed. He could tell that Summer's words had hit him hard, like a physical blow to the chest. He was caught off guard by the realization of how deeply Chris cared for Summer. Had Chris also developed a paternal instinct towards her? It surprised Kai that he had never considered the possibility before, that perhaps Chris shared the same sense of responsibility and protectiveness towards Summer as Kai did, as Lonnie did.
"Enough!"
Kai's deep voice boomed. An unexpected emotion washed over him. Seeing the look of hurt on Chris's face and the constantly shifting dynamics of his relationship with both Summer and Chris, it confused him, made him question everything he thought he knew. Summer's whole body jolted in surprise, causing her face to flush a deep shade of red. She avoided looking at Kai, unable to meet his gaze. Her eyes darted to the ground in embarrassment. Kai didn't turn around. He didn't need to. Summer was silent. With cautious steps, he approached the dense bush that loomed ahead. The woman crouched, her body shrinking as if blending into the foliage. She looked vulnerable, like a delicate flower bending under the pressure of rain. As he got closer, his senses were overwhelmed by the thick scent of earth and damp leaves. The rustling of branches and the chirping of birds filled the air as if the world hadn't been turned upside down, and Kai, creeping towards a trembling woman crouched in a bush, was a normal occurrence.
"Who are you?"
he demanded, hating the harshness that seeped through his words. She cowered, pressing herself deeper into the branches, causing them to snap beneath her. She wrapped her arms around something, whimpering in fear.
"Are you Decree?"
Her piercing blue eyes widened, her expression feral, as she hovered over something, using her body as a barricade. Being cautious, he approached, bending down to see what she was protecting.
"Kai, don't!"
Chris called out from behind him. He paid no attention as he crept closer toward the woman, her ragged breaths loud in his ears as she clutched something to her chest, shielding it from Kai's approach like a mother protecting her young. Her whimpers grew louder and more frantic as he grew nearer.
"Stay away!"
She shrieked, clutching whatever it was she was hiding tighter to her. Without warning, she swung a wooden baseball bat at Kai, narrowly missing his head as he stumbled backwards. The sound of Summer and Chris loading their rifles filled the air.
Don't shoot!
He sprinted towards the woman, throwing himself in front of her and spreading his arms wide like a human cross. His heart pounded against his ribcage as he faced the barrel of the guns pointed at him.
Don't shoot!
Summer and Chris stood frozen, their rifles raised, eyes staring in disbelief at the tall and imposing figure before them. Kai had positioned himself in front of the woman, shielding her with his body. His jet-black hair cascaded down his back like a river of ink, and his intense gaze bore into theirs. He stole a glance back. His eyes met the frightened gaze of a young boy who clung to his mother's leg for protection. The woman held her child close, shielding him with one hand while the other held the baseball bat high in the air, ready to swing into attack.
She's protecting a child!